Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. Yet another video on working with ENTs for those phase 1 cases or those ortho cases where there is potentially an airway issue. Yes, I have a lot of other content on working with ENTs and airway and orthodontics. Remember, we need to treat. If we don't want to work with a physician, we need to treat orthodontically. If there is a medical problem involved, you do need to work with a physician. Now, if there's other orthodontic issues, you can always still treat the orthodontic situation, and maybe the airway situation will get better. But I think it's really better to collaborate to make sure everyone's on the same page. So I strongly recommend that you do reach out to the ENT. If the patient said they've been to the ENT or they're going to the ENT or the patient needs to go to the ENT, I strongly recommend you do not start, if you think there's a severe airway issue, we don't want to be putting things in the patient's mouth that takes up volume that the tongue or space needs to go to, because then the airway issue is most likely going to get worse temporarily until you can fix the orthodontic problem. This is all very hypothetical. And of course, without the ENT's actual diagnostics and treatment plan, you really can't say or do anything airway related. You get what I'm getting at? So, and this is all, if you look at the ADA's guidelines on airway and expansion, it's all there. That's how things go. So that's why I like to make sure, and I actually have a form. I'm super glad to give you guys the template if you want. You can reshape it. You can put your own. I don't really care what you do with it. It is not trademarked. So do whatever you want with it. Maybe it is. I don't really care. So I don't care what you do with it. I just want you to make your own letter and be using it because that's important. And I don't give these out for free. If you've had a meeting with me or you've taken my course, just show me documentation. If you've purchased anything from me, show me the documentation if it was a long time ago, and I will give it to you. Or my forms are $20 each. In any case, glad to share that with you, but you can pretty much see most of it there. So have fun with that. But yeah, I mean, sometimes surgery is needed, and ultimately it should be the ENT who decides. The reason why I'm bringing this up, because there's a lot of dentists out there who are taking courses. They're like, it's okay as long as it's orthodontic, just get started. No, it's not. I don't think it is okay. And you know what? ENTs are getting pissed off. That's why you guys got to knock it off. You got to collaborate. That's not cool for you to just bulldoze them. Because once you start cementing things in their mouth, they can't do the surgery, you guys. So listen, that's nice. You think you're a dentist. You are a dentist. That's nice. ENT trumps you. Okay. There's a hierarchy here. I'm sorry, they trump you. They don't trump you on orthodontic issues. They trump you on medical issues and surgery. And guess what? Medical and surgery takes precedence over orthodontics. Now, that being said, they may say, good, go ahead and start. They may say they don't care. Great, just get it in writing. I don't care. But you do not take the patient's word for it. You hand them the paper and let the patient go get it. And if the patient's not willing to do it, then you can mail it. But tell them you can't do anything until you have it. You guys are just getting too money hungry, wanting to start. And that's what gives us a bad, if you want to be treated like a freaking doctor, act like a freaking doctor. I don't really think, because they're more insurance driven, right? I don't really think that they're so money hungry to get started. So it just makes us look bad. And it's been kind of an embarrassing year, I think, for ortho. I think we're embarrassing ourselves as a profession, which is probably why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's a disaster right now. Everything in ortho is a disaster right now. So work with your ENT, collaborate with your ENT. They get to decide what happens. And you know what? If they're not going to make a decision, then have them put that in writing. And then, okay, they didn't make a decision. So mom, we have a decision to make. They didn't make the decision for us. But put it in writing that they're not willing to make the decision. See what I'm getting at? That's all it goes down to. And then document. If they're not saying there's a problem that surgery needs to go, that means if you have an orthodontic issue, you're allowed to go ahead and go for it, assuming you have an orthodontic issue. Go for it, document it, of course, monitor the patient, but it's their job to monitor their airway. So anyways, that's just my opinion in terms of what's going on. So obviously, if you're using something like a removable, like an IPE on top, and maybe Invisalign first on the bottom, it's probably less of an issue because it's removable. They can still take it out to do their exercises. They can take it out to do their tongue stretching. If there was a panic, an issue in the middle of the night, they could take it out and throw it across the room, which is actually what often happens. If they're yanking it and tossing it out while they're sleeping, don't force them to wear it. That's a sign there might be an airway issue. First thing I do is send them myo and ENT. And yeah, no, it's not going to be free. They get to pay for it. But if they're unable to tolerate it, well, that tells you something. And mom shouldn't be scolding them and shoving it back in their mouth at night. So anyways, all this stuff does happen. And I hear this stuff and it makes me so incredibly sad. So yes, it is critical that we collaborate with ENTs. Yes, I would like to have the communication better. Yes, I would like to have ENTs better educated on the orthodontic correlation and the latest research. And no, they probably don't care. because they make plenty of money on their own and they don't need us. But we've got these patients that we have relationships with for years and years and years and decades. And when we see kids suffering and we hear the stories from moms, we get really upset and we want to get going with making them look better and feel better and function better. So that's why you want to be nice to your ENT. And you know what? If you can develop a network of ENTs that are friendly and easy to work with, my goodness, you've got gold, go to their offices. Go to their offices. Bring cookies, bring baskets, bring information, bring literature, schedule lunch and learn. You might be a pediatric dentist or a general dentist, but you can do this. They may blow you off, but they might not. I've met many that are awesome, especially the younger ones. They know, especially the younger ones with kids. They know. So find them. And you know what? If you don't have them in your area, well, then time for you to start making some content. Make some content of what you can talk about. Cite literature. Because guess what? Parents, they know, because they're reaching out at lightning speed and they're listening to content at lightning speed, especially the parents that are really, really worried about their kids. And there's a lot of information out there on TikTok and YouTube and, Reels and stuff. And it may not be correct, but you know what? Parents are searching and they're learning how to use AI to find information. And they are bypassing sometimes the ENTs and going straight to the pediatric dentist. So, and I'm telling you, parents who are desperate will lie. And I get it. Like if I was that desperate about my kid, I might lie too to try to get that orthodontic if I really believed in that. And that's the type of parent in some ways, I really like that parent, because not the lying part, but the part where they are so desperate. There's clearly a problem if they're that desperate. If a mom is that desperate, unless she's got Munchausen by proxy, I'm going to trust that mom. You know what? I'm going to trust that mom. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we do things the right way so our kid can get relief as soon as possible. But I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not cutting corners and I'm not accepting lies. Documentation is important for liability and risk management. So, all right, that's pretty much all I got to tell you, but I'm so glad I made this video and I hope you guys are screening all your patients. Take care.